Okay lah, dia memang tak function. Okay. Beragam sikit je saya punya kamera ni. Okay, so tak apa ya. I just off kamera. Okay, memang dia tak function ni. Okay, nanti saya try balik lah. Okay, later on ya. Okay, so for today, okay, we try to discuss this. Okay, we try to go through the last topic. Okay, topic 6. Okay, and then for today lah. Okay, for today, okay, we will cover this one. Okay, and then after week WWW, okay, we will go through on the sustainability lah. Okay, seminar tu punya topik ya. Nanti kita just go through ataupun I need to wrap up lah a little bit on that topic ya. Okay, so today change management, managing risk, and people. Okay, we are talking about the change management. Okay, firstly, we just go through what is the change, by definition. Okay, this one is by definition. When we talk about the change, change is about moving forward, moving to the future state. That why we call it as a change. And then, change management, is a systematic approach, to dealing, with the transitions, or transformations, of an organization's goal, processes, or the technologies. The purpose of having this change management is to implement strategy, for effecting change, controlling change, and then helping people to adapt to the change, So, basically this will cover the development transitional, as well as the transformational, Normally, why the company need, do some changes, ataupun change management, and then we have another term is organizational change, So to achieve the performance improvement lah, that one will be the basic things. That's why organization normally will constantly changing, adopting new strategies, and then culture, introducing new product, and then technologies, adapt with the new technologies, and then increase, make some changes, in the production processes, and then exploiting, the new market. So even if they are the best in the world at what they do, they must be changing to remain best, to gain a competitive advantage, to survive, to sustain in industry, definitely they need to adapt, whatever changes that will happen, surrounding, and then they need to map again, they need to strategize, do some changes, in their strategic thinking, strategic planning, do some changes, adapt with whatever technologies that required to enhance their performance. That one is the basic thing lah. We are talking about the organization change. This one will be the basic lah, the basic reason why company why the organization normally change. Organizational change is about the reviewing, and modifying, management structure and business, process. So that's why we call it as the organizational, change. So small business, normally will adapt, to survive, against the bigger competitor and grow, So the success, should not, lead, to the complacency, So they need to adapt with whatever changes, to compete, with the competitor, to stay or to sustain, in the industry. So to stay a step ahead, of the competition lah, that one is another reason. So normally company will do, need to look for ways, to do things, more efficiently and cost effectively. They go for innovation, adapt, whatever changes, that requires, embed with the new latest technologies, to upgrade their quality of the product. And then they need to go for the enhancing their process to become more efficient and so on. So no need to fear change for the change. Instead, small business should embrace change as we as to lay the foundations for enduring the success. Regardless of the small business, big business, maksudnya small business as well as the large corporation. Normally they go, they always constantly looking for the improvement. They want to upgrade their product, their services, their process, so that it will lead to the performance lah, a good performance, give customer satisfaction, okay, as well, okay, and then they can increase, okay, the shareholder base as well, okay. So that one will be the, okay, the basic ataupun, okay, why, okay, they need for the changes, okay. This one will be the, okay, factors lah, okay, internal factors, okay, as well as the external factors, okay, that lead, okay, for the, okay, for the changes, yeah. Okay, we have, okay, internal event, okay, and then, okay, we also have the external event, okay, that lead, okay, for the, okay, for the changes, okay, in the organization, yeah. Introductions of the new technology, okay, this one is well understood, okay, and then change in the production, okay, technologies, okay, if let's say they go for, okay, green manufacturing, just an example, okay, to reduce the waste, okay, to minimize, okay, the energy consumption as well, okay. And then, okay, outdated working process, okay, or practices, okay, in the manufacturing, okay, if let's say they want to embed, okay, with the green manufacturing, okay, technology, just an example, okay, they want to get the more efficient, okay, process, okay, in their operation part, okay. And then change, okay, in the organization performance, okay, for example here, okay, reduce the profitability, okay, and then increase, okay, in the staff, okay, turnover. Okay, if let's say there is a, okay, increase in the staff turnover, okay, there is a, okay, issues, okay, on their, okay, when their profitability is reducing, okay, so all this one, okay, will lead to the organizational, okay, change, okay. So that's why, okay, here, okay, whatever that outdated, okay, they need to improve, okay, to the new one, okay, to meet, okay, with the latest. Whatever that, okay, product, okay, the quality product, okay, that reduce the demand, okay, reduce their revenue, reduce their sales, okay, they will, okay, go for some, okay, improvement ataupun, okay, they need, okay, to do some changes, okay. And then how to remain, how to retain, okay, their staff, okay, you already covered kan, okay, how to sustain, okay, how to retain, okay, their human capital, okay, so that, okay, the employee will be very happy working, okay, with the company, okay, and then they stay longer in the company, okay. So, okay, if let's say, okay, they still remain, okay, so they cannot, okay, adapt with the, okay, I mean they cannot, okay, compete, okay, with the competitor lah, okay, that one is a reason, okay, why, okay. And then for the external factors here, okay, increasing the competition, okay, will lead to the organizational change, okay, okay, in the social demographic, okay, just example here, the gender, age and income, okay. So in this case, okay, also, okay, they need to, okay, do something, okay, on their product, okay. If let's say, okay, these external factors, okay, will also lead to the, okay, will give an impact, okay, to their, okay, to their product, kan. Okay, and then change, okay, in the buying behavior and customer taste, okay. So this one will also, okay, lead to the organization change, okay. They need to, okay, increase ataupun improve, okay, do some, okay, changes or some improvement, okay, on their product, okay, quality and so on, okay. And then legal and political pressure, okay, just an example here, change, okay, in the law and regulation, okay, new tax rule, okay, during a pandemic, okay, what are the new rules, new regulation that impact, okay, the, okay, small business, okay, the big corporation as well, okay. So, okay, all that, okay, new regulation will give an impact, okay, and then will lead to the organization, okay, to change, okay, their certain, okay, policy procedure as well, okay. And then, okay, high usage of the new technology, okay, mobile technologies and internet, okay, this one, okay, will lead to the new trend, okay, for the company, okay. Previously, if let's say they are, okay, using the face-to-face, okay, nowadays, okay, more on the, okay, e-mobile ataupun e-payment, okay, e-shopping kan, okay, everything, okay, towards, okay, online, okay, online purchasing ataupun online transaction kan. And then changes, okay, in the economic cycle, okay, for example, okay, market, okay, downturn, okay, recession, and then during pandemic. So all that one will affect, okay, the organization strategy, okay, the organization, okay, operation, okay. So that's why, okay, they need to, okay, do some, okay, changes, yeah. So here, okay, in general, we can say that, okay, change can be seen, okay, from two different perspectives, okay. Okay, the first one, okay, the scope of the change, okay, to measure, okay, of the scope is whether or not, okay, the methods and assumption of the existing, okay, paradigm, okay, must, okay, be replaced, okay. And then the second one will be the nature of the change, okay, maybe incremental, okay, but okay, build okay on the existing method and okay approaches, okay, or it may require a big bang approach, which is okay. I mean the changes okay will be more dynamic and exciting, okay, with rapid response okay is required. So here, okay, whatever changes here, the scope here, okay, I mean, if let's say the nature of the change here is incremental, okay, they will go for the adaptations okay, as well as the, okay, evolution, okay, I mean the realignment and then the transformation here. Okay, if let's say the nature of change is, okay, a big bang, okay, they are using the big bang approach, okay, it will go for the reconstruction, okay, and then the re-evaluation. So, okay, here, okay, incremental, okay, adaptation and, okay, evaluation, okay. Kita tengok adaptation, okay. A common types of change, okay, that does, okay, not require the developments of the new paradigm, okay, and, okay, proceed step by step, okay. We are talking about the organization change, okay. If let's say the change, okay, just, okay, they go for the concept of adaptation, okay, it just, okay, the development, okay, just, okay, I mean, okay, it's not required for the new paradigm, okay. If let's say evolution, okay, when they need for the, okay, when they need, okay, for the transformation here, evolution, kan, we are talking about the, okay, incremental, okay, when they are doing, okay, incremental, okay, normally just small ataupun, okay, small changes, okay, small changes, okay, incremental, okay, they go for, okay, how they want to realign, okay, and then, okay, in terms of, okay, evolution, okay, is an incremental process that lead to the new paradigm, okay. It may arise, okay, from careful analysis and planning, or maybe, okay, the result of learning process. So the one we call it, okay, when they have need for the, okay, transformational, okay, they go for the evolution, okay. But this one is still under incremental approach, yeah, that these two, okay. And then the other two will be, okay, on the, okay, if let's say the approach they are go for the, okay, big bang approach, okay, they are using the reconstruction, okay. Actually this one is a common, okay, response, okay, to a long term, okay, discipline, okay, to long term, okay, decline, okay, in performance, okay, can be undertaken, okay, with the existing paradigm, okay, but requires a rapid and extensive action. So that's why we call it as a big bang, okay. As you know lah, the Big Bang theory, we are talking about the Big Bang, okay, Big Bang, okay, that one is referring to the big scale, okay, major change, okay, because they want to reconstruct, okay, they reconstruct, okay, a new strategy as well, okay. And then the other part, okay, will be on the, okay, revolution, okay, here, okay, we are talking about the, okay, when they do some, okay, transformational, okay, and the Big Bang approach, okay, they need to revolution, okay. This revolution actually referring to the, okay, rapid and wide, okay, ranging response to the extreme pressures, okay, for the change, okay. A long period, okay, of the strategic, okay, drift, okay, may lead, okay, to a crisis, okay, that can only be, okay, dealt, okay, with in this, okay, way. So we are talking about the change, okay, and then this is the types of the changes, okay, that normally happen, okay, in the organization, okay. We are talking, okay, about the, okay, I mean the scope, okay, and then the nature, okay. This one will be the scope lah, okay, the scope, okay, as well as the nature of the changes, okay, that normally happen, okay, in the organization, okay, so that they can increase, okay, their performance. Okay. The aim is for the improvement, for the, okay, enhancement, okay, in their organization, okay, their performance, actually, okay, that one will be their aims, yeah. Okay, so this one, okay, just, okay, the change management process, okay, definitely, okay, the first one, they need to identify the scope, okay, the current state, okay, the future state, okay, the result, as well as the concept, yeah. Okay, so, okay, in this, the second part, okay, they will present, okay, okay, the process, okay, of the change management, okay, then they present the process, okay, the information, okay, the risk analysis, okay, as well as the cost of the change, okay. We are talking about the, okay, this one will be the step, okay, the process, okay, the step, okay, in, okay, change management, okay. The third one, okay, they go for planning, okay, after they are doing, okay, some, okay, planning, okay, they do some analysis, okay, measurement, okay, and then, okay, they go for the evaluations, okay, for whatever, okay, that when they decide for the changes for the change management. And then the last one will be after they do the evaluation, they will go for the communication, execute, identify, plan, onboard, and then manage. This one is the process of the change management. And then the other one, this one, we are talking about the Levin's. Levin's change management model. Actually this Levin they develop they develop this framework. They are talking about the process of the organization change. So Levin use the analogy of how an ice block change its shape to transform into a cone of the ice through the process of the unfreezing. We are talking about there are three stages lah here. Levin want to explain on the process of the organizational change. So they are talking about actually this one lah. They have this three element, unfreezing, moving or changing, and then refreezing. They are talking about the process of plan change. So by recognizing these three stages, they believe that the organization, this is the process when the organization want to do some changes. So and then after they do some plan to change, they will start creating the motivation to change. This one we call it unfreeze. Unfreeze. The first element just now lah. The first element. This one unfreeze. And then the organization will move through the changes process by promoting effective communication and empowering people to embrace new ways of the working. So this one the second step they will change. So after people do have some changes and then the process end when the organization return to a sense of the stability. So they refreeze again. So they do some changes. Before they do some changes, they need to unfreeze. They need to come out from the status quo. And then they make some changes. And then after they have certain things that is really stable, so they refreeze against the management. So which is so necessary for the creating the confidence from which it embark to the next inevitable change. So this one the process is start with unfreezing, provide rationale for the change, and then create minor levels of the guilt ataupun anxiety about the not changing, and then create sense of the psychological safety concerning on the change. Actually this one to reduce forces for the status quo. So they want to change from the common trend to the new one lah. They want to reduce from the whatever that being practiced. If let's say they need for the some changes. So this is the this is the the first step. The first step they need to unfreezing whatever changes that require. So that's why they need to provide the rationale for change. And then the aim here to reduce the status quo. They need to move. They need to change. So that's why the second part they will try to get the whatever motivation factors lah to move, to unfreeze whatever that requires for the changes. Because sometimes whatever strategy is strategy or whatever the operation the practice that being exercised in the organization needs for some changes. So they need to unfreeze first. And then this one is according to Levin punya framework lah. We are talking about the Levin framework. When they are introducing somewhere around 1940s or 1950s, they are introducing this framework. They are talking about the organization change. And then, okay, they are moving to the changing, okay. So here, okay, they will provide information, okay, the suspect, the purpose, okay, changes, okay, and then, okay, bring about the actual shift, okay, in behavior. So actually, in this, okay, changes, okay, they want to develop a new attitude, okay, value as well as the behavior, yeah. That one will be the second, okay. I mean the second, the second step, okay, on the second step, okay, on the sorry. Okay, second step, okay, on this, okay, model lah, okay. And then, okay, after they do some changes, okay, the firstly, okay, they unfreeze, okay, and then, okay, they do, okay, some changes here, okay. And then after that, okay, they need to, okay, implement, okay, new evaluation system, okay, implement, okay, new hiring and promotion system. This one just a few example lah. Actually, the aim here is to, okay, reinforce, okay, new attitudes, okay, value and, okay, behavior. So they just, okay, refreeze, okay, they refreeze the, okay, I mean the current system lah. Okay, so they, I mean when they feel that, okay, whatever changes they want is stable, they want to implement, so okay, they need to refreeze. So that's why, okay, this Levin, okay, they are using, okay, this, okay, analogy kan, they are using the, okay, ice, okay, block, okay, the ice block change, okay, from a cube ice, okay, they change, okay, the shape, okay, to a cone, okay. I mean they are using, okay, this analogy lah, okay, to show, okay, the needs, okay, okay, of the organization change, okay, they are using, okay, this framework, okay, to explain, okay, the needs of the, okay, the needs of the organization, okay, change, yeah. Okay, and then, okay, the reason for the change, okay, if let's say, okay, some organization, okay, they are resistant to change, okay, why, okay, because, okay, there are a few factors here, okay, that being, okay, highlighted, okay, why the organization, okay, sometimes, okay, is resistant to change, okay. The first reason will be the high uncertainty, okay. Due to the high uncertainty, okay, organization, okay, might not, okay, they are not willing, okay, they are not willing to change, okay. And then, okay, they still, okay, they want to remain, okay, the status quo, okay. They are very complacent, okay, they are very convenient to, okay, to do, okay, the existing practice, yeah. Okay, and then sometimes, okay, if let's say there is some changes requires, okay, in the management, okay, in the organization, okay, it will increase the workload, okay. That one another, okay, another example, okay, why, okay, some organizations, okay, are resistant, okay, to change, yeah. Okay, when change is introduced, it is most likely, okay, that, okay, the management affected, okay, would experience, okay, some, okay, very, I mean, upsurge of the workload, yeah. So management, okay, will be required, okay, to engage, okay, in planning and implementing the new system and process, okay. So this, okay, will result of the, okay, I mean, okay, overload, okay, for the, okay, employee lah normally, okay. When there is some changes, okay, definitely, okay, the workload will be, okay, increases, okay, because they need to adapt, they need to learn, okay, they need to, okay, I mean, they need to make some adjustment, kan, okay, with the latest changes, yeah. Okay, and then, okay, due to the rapid change, okay, also, okay, will demotivate the organization, okay, to always, okay, keep changing, okay, sometimes, okay, this is another factors why organization resistant to, okay, to change, okay. The resistance, okay, may intensify, okay, when, okay, there is a fast, okay, and rapid change, okay. This is because the employee affected are given insufficient time to prepare themselves, okay, and understand, okay, the change, okay. Sometimes, okay, they're still, okay, they're still in the process of adapting, okay, the new change, okay, and then suddenly, okay, there is, okay, another, okay, changes is required, okay. You mean that's, okay, the changes is too frequent, okay. Sometimes, okay, the employee get, okay, very exhausted, okay, with to adapt, okay, with the new system, okay, with the changes that constantly, okay, affected, okay, their workload, okay. and that affected their emotion as well lah, okay, due to the rapid change. So that's why, okay, they are not willing to ataupun they are resistant, okay, to have, okay, the changes, yeah. And then, okay, the other factors will be, okay, why ataupun the reason, okay, for the, okay, resistant to change is loss of the autonomy. Okay, changes may require the management to adopt, okay, different, okay, approaches, okay, in dealing with the operation and the job, okay, routine. So this may cause employee to move away from their traditional routine, okay, giving rise to the confusion, okay, and then about the conducting work which involve, okay, new process and system, okay. So individual may sense, okay, that, okay, they are losing control, okay, over their job, yeah. So loss of the autonomy, okay. So this one is understood now, okay. When new system, okay, new routine, okay, new process, okay. So that's why, okay, sometimes, okay, they get confused, okay. They are not very sure because a new system, okay, normally they need to try and error. Sometimes, okay, they are not really get, okay, a proper guidance, okay, to implement a new system sometimes, okay. So whatever changes, okay, in the management also, okay, that one, okay, normally will affect a lot lah, yeah. On the staff, yeah. And the skill and competence, okay, when individual lack, okay, the required skill to use new system in line, okay, with the, okay, introductions of the new technologies. So the resistance to change may increase, yeah. They need to go for training, okay, and then they need to, okay, digest, okay, new things, okay, sometimes, especially the, okay, if let's say they already serve, okay, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, okay, sometimes they get, okay, exhausted, okay, to learn, okay. Some, okay, if let's say the organization managed to encourage, okay, the learning organization, learning culture, okay, only then, okay, their staff will happy to enhance ataupun to upgrade their skill and, okay, knowledge, okay. But, okay, sometimes kan, if let's say it's too frequent, okay, sometimes they also get, okay, exhausted. So that's why, okay, they are resistant, okay, to change, okay. And then, okay, how to manage with that resistance to change, okay. Just now we are talking about the, okay, the reason, okay, the reason, okay, that, okay, lead to the resistance of change, okay. And then, okay, how to manage, okay, this resistance to change, how to motivate, how to encourage, okay, the employee, okay, the staff, okay, to adapt, okay, to digest with the, okay, new system, okay, new process, okay. The first one is education and support, okay. This one is understood, and then this one is very, is a main lah. Education and support, okay, is a priority. It's very significant, okay, to encourage, okay, the employee, okay, to go for some, okay, changes, okay. Provide, okay, education, okay, provide, okay, a strong support, yeah, to this, okay, change, yeah. And then participation and involvement, yeah. So need to, okay, allow employees to participate, okay, in the change process, okay, may reduce the change, okay, resistance. So identifying the issue, okay, prioritizing, and then creating a new routine, okay, in the implementations of the new strategy, yeah. Facilitation, okay, facilitation and support, okay. Education and support, okay, participation and involvement, okay, facilitation, okay, facilitation, okay, and the support also, okay, is very important, okay, to encourage, okay, the staff, okay, the employee, okay, to adapt with the changes, yeah. And then negotiation and agreement as well, okay, is very important, okay, to ensure the, okay, the staff, okay, to adapt with the changes, yeah. And then manipulation and cooperation. So in cases, okay, where there is a significant resistance to change, okay, manipulation is deemed, okay, to be appropriate, okay, although it is raises, okay, several ethical consideration. So what mean by manipulation and cooperation? Okay, to ensure that they are cooperate, okay, with the changes, okay, they need to do some manipulation, okay. Kata kat sini ada several ethical consideration. So what does it mean actually? We want to ensure that, okay, the employee, the staff, okay, adopt, okay, ataupun, okay, adapt with some changes, okay, that been done, okay, in the organization, okay. So, okay, they need to go for the, okay, they need to encourage, okay, the cooperation, okay, from all level, okay. Okay, some manipulation, okay, what types of manipulation that can be done to encourage the employee to, okay, to adapt the changes? Rasa-rasanya apa? Ada yang nak ni? Tak ada? Tak ada yang nak respon? What mean by this actually? Siapkan the manipulation. How to encourage for the encourage to adapt with the changes in the organization. They are using the manipulation. A positive manipulation, we can say this one. To encourage the cooperation, they will go for the positive manipulation. As long as that one is within ataupun that one is still within the ethic kita cakap ethic is ethically doing the manipulation. Adakah? Ada istilah tu? Ada ke tak ada? Senyap je semua orang. There is a certain technique lah. I can say that there is a certain technique that can be used to manipulate so that they can come up with the a good encouragement to the staff. And then coercion, implicit, and explicit. This one is management may use, its power, coercive power might be, So to impose, change, via, coercive, which, is considered, as a strong form of the direction, we can say a coercive, because the top management normally come with their position comes with the coercive power, so that they can encourage, they can force the staff, the employee to adapt with the changes that required by the organization. So that one we are talking about the organization change, the factors, of the organization change, and then types of organization change, factors, why, there is some resistance to change, and then how to manage the resistance to change. So the second part, we are talking about the risk, risk and risk management. When we are talking about the risk, you know already lah, risk is a condition in which there exists a quantifiable dispersion in a possible outcome from any activity. This one is according to SIMA lah. So in other words, risk is the possibility that the actual result will turn out differently from what it is expected. All this risk normally will happen lah in any business, because business is very uncertainty. So that's why they need to manage the risk to reduce the impact on the organization. So here we are, we try to discover a few, we try to go through a few types of the risk category. The first one, we are talking about the fundamental risk, particular risk, spectacular risk, as well as the pure risk. We just go through the brief definition for each risk category. The first one, fundamental risk. Actually this one is referring to the risk that affect society in general, a broad group of the people, and are beyond the control of the individual. Just an example here, risk of the air pollution, which can affect the health of the whole community, which may be quite beyond an individual power to control, because normally if let's say the pollution that this pollution is happen if let's say the society, the organization, when they are dealing with the their operation, their business operation, their manufacturing process, that give an impact to the pollution, and then so this one normally is beyond the is beyond of the individual power to control, but certain party can take this responsible to reduce this risk. So that's why any organization that involved with the environmental impact, like just an example here kan, environmental impact that will give the community or society become unhealthy, pollution, air pollution, lot of wastage that being dumped in the river and so on kan, and then cause a flood, and a lots of factors there. So the organization supposedly need to reduce that risk that will give impact to the environment as well as the society, and then that one also will give an impact to their business operation as well, actually, the reputation, the image of the organization. If let's say they are causing lots of impact on the environment and on the society kan. So the other category will be particular risk. When we call a particular risk, risks are which our individual may have some measure to control. So example here, risk attack to smoking. That can be controlled by refraining some smoking. A cigarette. So this one actually is referring to individual particular risk, specific risk that derive and then that can be controlled by the individual. And then the other types of risk will be speculative risk. And then this one will be those from which either good upside risk. This one is a upside risk or positive risk. Or harm, or downside risk, may result. Example here is a business venture, which can either result in a profit or loss. We are talking about the business venture. When they are creating a new business, they come up with the innovation product. They want to extend their product line. Just an example, there is a risk. There is a risk, either the outcome, ataupun they can success with the new ventures, ataupun they can fail with that new ventures, and let's say you in 661 you will learn about the corporate entrepreneurship they are creating a new ventures within the corporation. So there is a risk there. So that risk we call it as a speculative risk. That this one can become a there is an opportunity when they are creating a business venture. There is a positive ataupun there is a risk. Normally whatever opportunity, business opportunity can come with the risk. There is a positive risk. Might be they can gain more, they can expand their product line. They can gain better. They can enhance their performance by having a new ventures, creating a new ventures. As well as if let's say they fail to manage. If let's say they fail to manage their new ventures. Their new business ventures. So they will gain loss, and then it will affect a lot lah. It will affect their reputation, their image, and then will affect the employee as well. So that one we call it as a speculative risk. And then the other one with the pure risk. So are those risks that the possible outcome is only causing harm. For example here, risk facing those people affected by the virus. So that one is a pure risk lah. We call it that one is a pure. So that whatever risk that we are very sure. The negative, if the negative, we will get the negative impact. If let's say example here kan COVID-19 those are positive. Are you going to have a close contact with person that you are very sure having a COVID-19, positive COVID-19? He or she actually already have this types of risk lah, pure risk. So definitely lah, you will be you will get affected by that virus. That one is very sure. The risks that are very certain. So we call it as a pure risk. Speculative just now is can be positive or negative lah. Okay. Okay, and then how to this one, the next one, we need to go for the risk identification. Okay. So risk management can be made easier by identifying the risk before they crystallize. Okay. So this would enable the management to think of the method that can be used to manage them. Okay. And then risk identification should be done continuously so that the new risks and changes affecting existing risks may be identified quickly. Okay, and deal with the appropriate before they cause unacceptable losses. Okay, we are talking about the risk and how to manage the risk. Okay, why is very important for the organization to manage the risk? Okay, to reduce the loss. Okay, what that will cause harm to the organization. So that's why it's very important to for the risk identification. Okay, so basically in any business lah, just now we just talk in general the category of the risk, speculative, pure risk, and then we are talking about a fundamental risk, as well as the particular risk, and then this one will be more specific for the risk that being faced by the organization. Okay, we have three types of risk here. Okay, we will go through on the business risk, economic risk, as well as the financial risk. Yeah. Setakat ni boleh tak? Boleh ikut tak? Saya cakap seorang-seorang je ni.
Boleh, madam.
Boleh ya. Layan je layan. Yeah. Okay, we have three types of risk here. Okay, the first one is business risk. Okay, what is a business risk? Yeah, the risk that businesses face due to the nature of their operation and product. Okay, for example here, some businesses reliance on the single product or small range of the product, or even relying on the small group of the skilled staff. So that one will be risk that can be faced by the business atau by the organization. Yeah. Here, there are some category, business category risk, strategic risk. When they do some strategy, you will come along with the risk. Product risk, commodity risk, operational risk, contractual risk, environment and social risk, strategic risk. When they are formulating, ataupun when they are formulating certain strategy, kita belajarkan, you all belajarkan business level strategy, corporate level strategy. So whatever strategy that being chosen by any organization, they come with a risk. They go for diversification. Kan contoh kan, strategic risk kan. So if let's say they go for cost leadership strategy, ataupun they go for differentiation strategy, what will be the risk involved? If let's say they go for diversified, unrelated, ataupun they choose to be unrelated, diversification. Okay, so what will be the risk? We are talking about the strategy when they are strategized to have some mergers, some acquisition, just an example. So there is a strategy, strategy risk, as well as there is a product risk. We are talking about the product. So this one, risk of the failure of the new product launch, or loss of the interest in the existing product is might be when the company introducing a new product, it's very much similar with the existing product, which is very common in the market. So there is no new value added for that product. So it comes with the risk. So how to compete, how to gain, how to attract the interest of the customer to buy your product, because your product is very common in the market. Just an example lah, that one is a product risk. Kalau you nak go for differentiation strategy ataupun product just now, in terms of the product, you go for different differentiation strategy. So is it you are very sure to get can be sell ataupun fail. So that one come up with the risk lah. When we are talking about business, business normally will attach ataupun embed with the risk lah. Very uncertain. Lots of factors need to be considered. So the other types of businesses will be on the commodity risk. risk, okay, of the, okay, risk in the commodity prices, okay, just an example here, okay, crude oil, okay, and the risk of the disruptions to the operation due to the shortage, okay, of the necessary supplies, okay, or the substandard supply, okay. All the commodity product, okay, it's the same, similar kan, okay, some of the commodity product, okay, they just have a different, okay, brand. So how to ensure that, okay, your product will be, okay, I mean your commodity product, okay, will get a preference, okay, from the buyer, okay. And then, okay, we are talking about the operational risk, okay, risk that business operation may be inefficient or, okay, business process may fail, okay. So if let's say you go for, okay, green manufacturing, okay, I mean, okay, we are talking about the organization change kan due to the technology. You want to, okay, enhance the efficiency, okay, in the operation. So you try to adapt ataupun you try to, okay, implement a new, okay, manufacturing, okay, green manufacturing, okay, strategy, just an example, okay. And then when you, okay, already, okay, invest, okay, in terms of, okay, might be, okay, machine, okay, with the embed with the high technology, so that, okay, your production is very, okay, your target will be, okay, to enjoy the economies of scale, kan, okay, mass production, go for the mass production. So, okay, in terms of efficiency, okay, is it really efficient, okay, whatever that machine that you, that the organization already bought, okay, is it really will help the operation, okay. They want to implement, okay, self check-in, just an example kan, operational risk, okay, example you punya test kan, yeah. So is whatever that technology that being, okay, if let's say they already invest, okay, in the technology, okay, they come up with the new system, okay, to ensure that the smooth, okay, flows, okay, of the operation of the service, okay, but sometimes, okay, is also subject, okay, to the, okay, failure, okay. So what is the risk, okay? The system, maybe there is a flaws, okay, in the system, okay, even, okay, you already embed, okay, with the latest technology, okay, but sometimes the operationalize kan is not, okay, I mean, okay, there is still a defect and so on, okay. So, okay, we are talking about this, okay, business risk, okay. So this one will be there, okay, the example of the, okay, business risk, okay. Another business risk will be on the contractual, okay, risk, okay. So risk, okay, the terms, okay, of the contract, okay, do not fully cover a business against, okay, all the potential outcome, okay. We are talking about the contractual, okay. Have, okay, certain contract, okay, MOU, okay, collaborating kan, when you do some collaborating, okay, sometimes, okay, we are doing the strategy alliance, okay, as well. So whatever the contract, okay, that be, okay, sign, okay, that being agreed, okay, but, okay, sometimes, okay, really doesn't work kan, there is a risk, okay, there, okay. And then environmental and social risk, okay, risk arising, okay, from changes, okay, in the business, okay, environment, okay, includes, okay, political, economic, social, as well as the technological issue. It's very rapid changes in the technology also become a, okay, an issue, okay. So this one we are talking about the environment, okay. So how to reduce the environmental impact, okay, how to reduce the, okay, whatever that, okay, I mean, especially we are talking about the, okay, heavy manufacturing company lah, okay, ataupun any company that, okay, we classify under environmental sensitive industry. So means that industry is really give, okay, a lot of impact to the environment as well as the society. Oil and gas, okay, heavy manufacturing, that one just an example, okay. So risk, okay, arising from the impact of the organization on the natural environment, okay, or the natural environment upon the organization, okay. So this one, okay, this one is falls under, okay, business, okay, business risk, okay. So whatever that risk, okay, doing a business, okay, normally, okay, embed ataupun attach, okay, with the risk, okay, fail or success, okay, impact with the surrounding, positive or negative, okay. And then the second types, okay, of the, okay, risk will be on the economic risk, okay. we try to cover three kan, okay, business risk, economic risk, as well as the financial risk. Okay. So in terms of economic risk, okay, here, okay, is the risk that change in the economy might affect the business, and then the changes could be inflation rate, unemployment rates, international trade relations or fiscal policy decision announced by the government. The risk is considered to be external to the business. We are talking about the economy. You already cover the external environment kan, political and legal kan, economics, economic risk. So during pandemic, the economy is very it's very bad. It's not just Malaysia, around the world, due to that, I mean pandemic during the COVID-19, so give a lot of impact on the economy, all the industry. It's not just hospitality industry get being affected. Most of the industry lah being affected kan. Yang kita nampak memang banyak lah, all the transportation, because people cannot travel kan, when the borders being closed kan. Sekarang ni dah buka isu lain pula, so ada lagi Omicron, and then anak-anak beranak Omicron sekarang ni macam-macam dah keluar kan, so all that one will give a big impact to the economic lah, so we also worried if let's say sebab sekarang ni kita nampak Omicron punya case increasing daily, it will give an impact. So what happen if let's say the economics they need to shut down again, PKP again. Lepas tu ada macam-macam PKP, whatever lah kan, so it will give a lot of impact to the economic. So when this economics definitely will I mean this is the risk lah when doing the business, so the economic risk also will affect the survival of the business, and then the third risk will be on the financial risk, so we are talking about the risk, the risk of the change in the financial condition, such as exchange rate, interest rate, and customers credit rating. So here we have a credit risk, risk of the non-payment by the customer. Sekarang ni semua credit card kan, but there is a possibility of if let's say lah sudden especially during pandemic kan, many of the customer ataupun people lost their job, they are not able to pay their credit card, buat credit transaction kan, a lot of issues there pending kan, and political risk risk arising from the government's action that affect financial aspect of the business, when they are introducing lots of SOP, procedure, rules during pandemic, especially lah political risk kan. Sekarang ni macam-macam kan, siapa yang tak vaccinated, so that one also a lot of issue under vaccinated, non-vaccinated, fully dosed, non-fully dosed booster, and some lot. So that one come under political risk, which sooner or later will affect the business operation as well lah. Currency risk, risk of the fluctuation in the exchange rate, Malaysian punya currency kan, it's very if let's say lah you go to Europe, you go to you can see lah memang lah jangan convert lah dia punya moral if let's say you go overseas you no need if let's say you want to buy something no need to convert in RM, if let's say you convert to RM you will think it's not just twice jadi 10 kali nak fikir kejap. Because the currency, the exchange currency rates is very low, and you go to in Japan, the currency rate also you can feel lots lah. It's very expensive and it's very expensive. When you try to convert, you will feel that it's very expensive. Okay, and then interest rate, okay, interest rate risk, okay, risk that interest, okay, rate is change, okay, and then gearing risk, okay, risk is either way business is finance, okay, debt versus security, yang ni you tahulah gearing risk, interest rate risk ni I tak nak cakap banyak lah, all this one, okay, financial risk, this one, okay, you already covered, okay, under your finance, okay, finance syllabus kan, okay, corporate finance, okay, and then ada financial market kan, you know better about this, okay. So all this one, okay, will give, okay, an impact, okay, to the, okay, organization, which will lead organization to, okay, constantly, okay, do some changes, okay, to adapt with this, okay, factors lah, okay. Because, okay, their business come with, okay, it's not just business risk, okay, economic risk, okay, financial risk as well, okay. So this financial risk, okay, some is not just internal, but, okay, as all this one actually is the, okay, financial risk, okay, that derive from the external, okay, that will affect, okay, the business, okay. You can see lah, this one is okay, political risk, okay, currency risk, okay, interest rate risk, okay, all this one is the external, is difficult to control by the organization. Larat lagi? Boleh dengar lagi? Okay, dah ngantuk dah. Ya, hujan ni rasa tak nampak muka you. Kan dia dah terlentuk depan, ke depan skrin. Belah madam ni bebel sorang-sorang ya. Okay, risk, okay, here, okay, risk can be looked, okay, in two ways, okay. So upside risk, okay, we call it as a positive risk, okay, is where, okay, things work out, okay, better, okay, than has, okay, been expected, okay. If let's say we are talking about business risk, okay, just now kan, okay, we are talking about the business risk, okay, and then we are talking about the economic risk, okay. So if let's say, okay, all that one give a positive, okay, positive return, okay, to the business, okay, we can call it that one as a, okay, upside risk ataupun positive, okay, positive risk, yeah. And then, okay, the downside risk will be the negative risk, okay, is the risk, okay, something that could go wrong, okay, and then the organization is, okay, damaged, okay, this one a lot lah, okay. So, yeah, a simple view of the risk, okay, could be seen, okay, in negative terms, okay, and then we call it this one as a, okay, downside risk, okay. So risk management would involve minimizing, okay, the chances, okay, that adverse, okay, event, okay, will happen. It's very impossible to eliminate all the risks, especially whatever the risk, okay, that, okay, derive, okay, from the external, okay, currency rate, okay, that one is very difficult, kan, okay, global risk just now, okay, whatever that risk that cannot be controlled by the organization, okay, I mean that one is very impossible, okay, to eliminate, okay, to make it zero. However, okay, the organization still can manage, okay, certain risks, okay, that, okay, within, okay, their control, okay. So therefore, there is a likely to be a level of residual or remaining risk, okay, which is simply not, okay, worth eliminating. Okay. So benefit to derive from the management of the risk, okay, possibly, okay, at the expenses, okay, of the profit, okay, such as, okay, predictability of the cash flow, okay. If let's say they have a well-run system, okay, can reduce lah, okay, the negative risk, okay. Limitations of the impact of the potentially bankrupting, okay, event, okay. They need to avoid, this one is still, okay, controllable lah, this one is within, okay, how they want to manage, okay, certain project, okay, certain activities, certain events, so that, okay, they are not going to face, okay, with this, okay, bankrupting, okay, event, okay, the financial management, okay, the control, okay, by, okay, ataupun within the organization, yeah. So increase confidence of the shareholders, okay, and other investor, okay, if let's say, okay, they manage, okay, to control, okay, to avoid all the negative risks, okay. So management responsibility, okay, with, okay, regards to the risk, okay, we are talking about the responsibility by the management, how to avoid, how to manage, okay, the risk, okay. Apart from focusing on the managing negative risk, okay, so management, okay, should seek to limit uncertainties, okay. So how to limit the uncertainties? Okay, it's very difficult actually, but it's doable lah, yeah, uncertainties, okay. And to manage speculative, okay, risk, okay, and opportunities, okay, in order to maximize positive, okay, outcome, and hence, okay, maximize, okay, the shareholders, okay, the shareholder values, okay. So managers should consider the factors that determine shareholder valuations of the company. So the risk associated with this and the way in which shareholder would like the risk to be managed. We are talking about them. This one will be the fall under how the management want to manage the risk. How to avoid, how to reduce, how to eliminate. Even it's not to zero. But they need to find some ways to limit the uncertainties, manage the speculative risk. What is the speculative risk? Just now, apa speculative risk? Dah tak ingat dah speculative risk. We are talking about the speculative risk. Anything that can be either good or bad lah. In terms of their strategy. Sometimes when they are creating a new business ventures. There is a possibility of the positive or negative. So they need to manage the speculative risk. And then they need to consider all this so that they can maximize the return, they can maximize their shareholders, their shareholders wealth. So that one will be the reasons of how to manage together the risk. Management responsibility with regard to risk. Again, most risks must be managed to some extent. And then some should be eliminated. For example, here, a business in a high technology industry, which evolve rapidly within the ever-changing market and technologies, has to accept high risk in its research and development activities. But should it also be speculating on the interest and exchange rate within its treasury activities. So this is just an example lah how they want to manage some extent of the risk because definitely lah any business that involved with the high tech industry, it's very rapid changes and then there is no end. The changes never end keep changing. So that's requires them to do some research and development so that they can be they can compete compete with the competitor lah sebab kalau dia tak do some research and development so how to improve their certain product to meet the demand ataupun the current trend from the customer dia cepat je kan dia nak yang all the latest. If let's say one company already introduced that product with the high embed with the high tech so the other company also need to follow. So that's why they need to manage lah to some extent and then whatever things that can be eliminated they need to try ataupun find a ways to eliminate. So risk taking and risk reduction. So by having this risk management actually is integral part of the strategy and then this will involve analyzing the key value drivers of the organization. And then since risk and return are linked one consequences of the focusing on the achieving high profit level may mean that the organization stand a large amount of risk. High return, high risk. Setuju. Low return, low risk. If let's say you are doing small thing as compared with you are doing a big thing. Definitely there is a small risk as well as the big risk kan. Adakah you buat something yang you do expect a high return with less risk? Ada?
Tak ada. Nak
dapat 4 flat pun risk dia banyak kan as compared kalau you nak dapat 3 pointers saja. So what is the risk that will involve if let's say you want you try to determine compare 3 pointer dengan 4 flat. Ada risk tak? Risk kena study unless you are gifted you are gifted. Kalau just average average macam macam I lelaki jenis yang average genius can be gifted kan. Ada setengah orang tu dia tak payah study pun dia boleh dapat 4 flat, betul? Ada setengah orang tu berempas pulas nak dapat 4 flat tak dapat juga for flat walaupun dah berhempas pulas. Okay, so that one is a risk kan. Okay, risk okay untuk dia punya health kan, sebab okay too focus, okay, and then very stressful, okay, to get for flat. Okay, ada setengah orang dapat for flat dia simple je. Yang tu gifted lah, kita cakap gifted. Tapi kita cakap yang normal, okay, yang general kan. Normally, okay, there's a risk there lah, okay. High return, okay, will attach, okay, with the, okay, high risk. Yeah. Selalunya lah, okay. And then bila dah ada high risk, okay, high return, okay, definitely lah it can be, okay, trade off kan. Okay, you akan towards the end you rasa worth it lah, okay, for your effort ya. Okay. Okay, we have, okay, here, okay, the risk, okay, appetite, okay. We are talking about the risk, okay, appetite, okay, risk attitude and capacity. Okay. Sekejap saya nak stop sampai mana ni. Banyak lagi ni, ada lagi separuh lagi. Okay, sebab kita ada 62 slide-nya. Okay, saya stop sampai risk management strategy lah. Okay, saya habiskan je ni risk appetite ya. Okay. Okay, risk appetite actually is the amount of the risk, okay, that an organization is prepared, okay, to accept, okay, in pursuit of its objective, okay, based on, okay, risk attitude as well as the risk capacity. So what mean by risk attitude? Okay, the overall views of the board, okay, whether, okay, the board is, okay, risk averse or risk, okay, seeking, okay. So it depends lah, okay. If let's say the board ataupun the management, okay, is risk, okay, seeking ataupun risk taker, okay. So, okay, because they expect that, okay, high risk, high return kan, and then it will trade off, okay. And then the risk capacity, okay, the amount of the risk that the organization can bear, okay. So we are talking about the risk, okay, appetite, okay, risk attitude, okay, as well as the risk, okay, capacity. All this one is okay, depends, okay, on the board on the top management, okay. I mean, okay, the board of the director is responsible to determine risk appetite of his or her company, okay. So either, okay, they are prepared or not, okay, to accept, okay, the certain risk, okay. If let's say they are creating a new ventures, okay, sometimes, okay, so they already, okay, ready. Is it, okay, the top management, okay, ready, okay, ready. If ready, we are calling that one as a attitude, okay. Willing, okay, willing to take the risk, okay, willing, okay, to put, okay, some effort, okay, initiative and so on, kan. Okay, that one will be fall under risk attitude, yeah. And then, okay, the capacity, okay, the amount, the risk of the, okay, they are willing to accept ataupun to, okay, to bear, kan. Okay, so this one we call it as a risk, okay, risk appetite, yeah. Okay, so saya stop sampai situ dululah, ya. Pentalaran dah dengar kan, ya. Okay, the rest, okay, kita sambung lagi besok, ya. Kita ada risk management, okay. Kita nak sambung sikit lagi. Cukuplah ya, you pun tak nak dengar. Kita, yang lain tu sikit lagi lah. Kita akan bercakap pasal, okay, that one should be very fast lah, okay. Kita cakap pasal risk management, okay. We stop here, okay, and then tomorrow we will, okay, talk about the risk management strategy, okay, transfer risk, okay, avoid or abandon, okay, risk, okay, pool risk, okay, and then diversify risk, yeah. And then later we will talk about the, okay, risk mapping, okay. After risk mapping, okay, tadi kita buat risk management and then kita buat risk mapping, okay, and then last one, okay, the last section will be on the managing people and culture. So how to manage the people, how to create a good culture, okay, in the organization, so that, okay, it will reduce okay, the risk, okay, that being faced, okay, by the organization, okay. Sebab nak reduce the efficiency kan, okay, nak reduce the efficiency pula, nak reduce the possibility of, okay, the loss, okay, in the organization, okay, how to enhance the efficiency, okay, within the organization, okay. So, okay, how to have a good culture, how to manage the people, okay. We are talking about the human capital there, okay. That one will be the last part lah, because again maps with the, okay, change and the change management, okay, the organization change, okay. Why all this one, okay. All, okay, is interrelated, okay, and then, okay, the business need to get, okay, all this one, they need to strategize, okay, how to manage the risk, how to manage the people, okay, how to manage, okay, how to get a good, okay, return, how to enhance, okay, their performance, okay, how to sustain and then how to gain the competitive advantage. Again lah, balik-balik semua tu dia akan jadi, okay, circle, okay, the needs, okay, in the any organization. Okay, so saya stop kat situ dulu. So besok kita sambung ya. Okay. Dan sebut CN memang tak boleh function kamera.